Christopher, the other Christopher in the room. That's his name, I know. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Chris Malo. I'm the editor of PhiladelphiaNeighborhoods.com, which is the capstone class for journalism students at Temple, where we report in and on underserved, underrepresented communities in Philadelphia. Good to be here and see everybody.
Good to see you, sir.
Yeah.
And Emma Restrepo, last but not least, of Dos Puntos.
Hi guys, good morning. My name is Emma. I'm from Dos Puntos, but I'm also a proud member of NICE.
Thank you, Emma. Good morning. And Lisa.
Hey.
I didn't forget you, Lisa.
I'm really excited to be here for multiple reasons. My name is Lisa Wilk. I'm manager of school partnerships. I work with Chris and Eric at WHYY. Marie works with me as well because I'm like the youth media education branch at WHYY, working with multiple individuals at our station. So I'm really excited here. I'm also an alumni of Temple. I used to teach at Philadelphia Neighborhoods, and one of our first media labs was Dobbins. And Indy Shom was one of our staff members last year. So. And I'm wearing a cool Philly made shirt, if you guys see it, of our students. So
very cool. Nice. So now we've done a roundabout. I'm going to turn it over to Eric to take us into the first part of this conversation.
Yeah, so basically what we're doing, I want to give you an overview of what's happening at WHYY, specifically at NICE, right? And so as you can see or heard earlier, NICE stands for the News and Information Community Exchange. And that's a grassroots mutual aid collaborative journalism collective, right? And that's, what does that mouthful mean? That mouthful is basically showing a way that WHYY, major news organization in Philadelphia, did an internal audit and recognized that there was a lack of diversity, not only amongst the stories that it tells, but amongst its newsroom, staff, and also audience. And as a result of that, there's been a lot of changes at WHYY, and this started a few years ago, actually. So kudos to WHYY for actually starting this initiative long before a lot of other newsrooms across the country started this process. But what we do at NICE is I recognize that communities have their own voice and they have their own storytellers. And so what we're doing is identifying those storytellers, those grassroots community content creators who provide hyper-local news and information to their communities, whether that's geographic or demographic. And recognizing that we want to support them. We want to figure out ways that we can elevate their voices, help them grow their platforms, and expand the work that they already do. And because it's a mutual aid collaborative, WHYY benefits by having, again, more diverse voices. As you can see from the website that Lisa is sharing at whyy.org/NICE, each of the partners contributes content to WHYY's platforms. But that doesn't mean WHYY owns the work that they do, right? They are still independent creators. We are just working collaboratively with them to connect them with others who are maybe like-minded, but they wouldn't necessarily come in contact with because they come from diverse communities, different communities. So we have everyone from our own Emma Restrepo, who is here, who serves the Latinx community across Philadelphia with her podcast, our radio show, Dos Puntos. But we also have Conrad Benner in South Philly, who focuses on public spaces. We also have Saj Purple Blackwell, who owns a streaming internet radio station, PQ Radio 1 in West Philadelphia, and many other members who really just have been working at their craft for many decades. Many of them have been working at this for over a decade. And so recognizing that that level of professionalism and that honed voice that they have crafted really deserves to be heard by a wider audience, we connect with them and to help broaden that reach and again, diversify our own internal voices at WHYY.
Thanks for that, Eric. Let's stop. Yeah, let's stop here and because I want to show you guys one of the members of NICE, but I just want to also add that NICE really kind of flips everything that you may be learning or have learned in journalism school about the way journalism functions. The kind of context that we put on NICE is that our audience can also be our collaborators, and that news or communities are not just consumers of news and information, but also producers of it. And that at the core of what this program is an acknowledgement that there are members of the community who are closer to issues and to neighborhoods than anyone in our newsroom can ever be, and that's not a competition, but that if we came together in the mutual aid context and offered them professional development, fostered collaboration, helped them with their audience diversification and scaling their operation, and in turn, we're getting insight into their neighborhood. They're teaching us how to build trust in different types of ways. And also, as Eric mentioned, we are getting both a pipeline to diverse sources, but also a pipeline to original content. And that is a great transition to what I want you guys to hear, about 30 seconds to a minute of. It's a segment called Matter or Not. And it's an extremely different type of sound for 90.9 FM. It's a woman on the street interview. It's gritty. And it's basically, it takes the social issues, the big issues of the day, and goes to neighborhoods and asks the residents, are you mad or not? So let's play 30 seconds to a minute of that. And then we'll have a conversation about what are the issues you're mad at or frustrated about in your neighborhood, and the ways in which media can make an impact in that. Lisa?
Let me know if you can hear it.
Welcome to Route 16, service to 15th and Market.
Listen, bro, I'ma swipe you on and I'ma slide it back to you, all right, bro?
Developing now, shocking video released by SEPTA's transit union will make anyone who commutes into the city uneasy.
Big man, little man. No, but really, what are you mad at? Yep, it's your girl POC. Tune in, WHYY 90.9 FM. Are you mad or not? On March 21st, 2021, a man was shot twice on the 15th Street SEPTA platform in Center City. This was the same platform where a SEPTA worker was brutally beaten last week. These events come only 1 month after a mass shooting at Albany Transportation Center. So I'm back in these Philadelphia streets asking Philadelphia residents, does this make them mad or not? Do they feel safe or not? Keep your radios locked.
Not angry, but disappointed at the fact that we don't have enough security down in the subways for everybody.
Thank you, Lisa. And so that's just, I mean, if you hear from the very beginning, right, the yip to the yip, that type of energy is very much different from the, this is NPR, it's 10:31, right? I mean, so that's one of the ways that in which it's dramatically different. It also has a really lively, upbeat sound. And it's a way of amplifying community voice. It's a way of us being really responsive to issues that happen. So anything that pops off in the city, POC and I, or sometimes Eric, will talk about, all right, let's go into this neighborhood. Let's talk to people across the 52nd Street corridor, and let's find out if they're mad or not about X. And so it's a way for us to capture instant reactions. It's a form of community engagement, and it helps us diversify our sound. And so she was one of the very first partners of NICE. And I think, Eric would agree, she is in a way a golden standard of the program in terms of how we integrate people, how they produce content for us, and how they integrate themselves into the newsroom. And so now we're going to ask a question of you all. Eric, you want to take over that part? You're on mute, brother.
Basically, what we want to know is, what are you mad at in regards to Philly media? What are the things that you feel like you want to change? You want to see something different happen? And anybody
what are you mad about in your neighborhood that you think media can have an impact on?
Exactly. Anyone? One of the things I'll just share real quick, so before others jump in, give you time to think about that. As you probably saw, as we were looking at the NICE website, I just recently penned an article that was shared on WHYY about my experience growing up in Philadelphia as a Black man in relation to gun violence over the years. I live in West Philadelphia in Cobb's Creek section now. And one of the things that I'm mad at is, the fact that our community is changing, but yet the media seems to only be focused on, they don't do a very good job on digging down into the root cause of violence or what's happening underneath the scene. So for me, that's something that stands out for me. Anyone else, any other things that stand out for you that you might be upset or mad at?
Yeah, just to add to that, I think gun violence is definitely Philadelphia's #1 issue right now. I looked at numbers. It's like I think we have 125 murders this year already, and this time 2 years ago I think it was like 75 or something. So it's at a dramatic, scary increase, and I don't think we're not doing enough to solve it. I don't know. I mean, we see it every night in the news, but really, what deep down, is like our city actually doing to help it? And I think, I don't know, media can definitely play a part in that too.
Thank you for that. Anyone else? And there's no wrong answer to this, but we want to kind of get your feedback and your thoughts around what are some of the things. We're here to talk about changes in media and how can you have a voice?
I have one.
Sure.
So like I said, I'm working on a film about telecommunication tower climbers. And what I'm really, really mad at is that we all have cell service and we all benefit from it and we all use it incessantly. And that right here in Pennsylvania and New Jersey and all around the world, there are climbers dying for us to have this service. And when climbers die, whether they're falling or there's an accident and they're hurt, it gets very little news coverage, period. I heard a story that started this whole initiative for me where a tower climber was decapitated when a cable snapped when they were pulling up an antenna. And it took me so long to find any information, news coverage on that specific accident, which to me felt like it would have been a national story. But they're not national stories. And, as I say this, I feel like most people have no idea what the cost is for cell service today. And something that we're all part of, yet very few people are a part of the needed change where that these men and women are working in safe conditions. So I'm really, really mad about that. And I'd love to see that change and talked about.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Tisha, please, when you finish that documentary, please share it with us. If our local production team is always looking to acquire production rights locally to air it on TV 12, and that's such an interesting topic. We'd love to explore it further. Eric?
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no, anyone else with any further comments?
I'd also add that I know there was someone from New Jersey, I think Alex, like WHYY's coverage area, to reiterate, is also Philadelphia, its surrounding counties, South Jersey, and Delaware. So we're always interested in all of them. And the content makers can also be youth that our TV production's looking for. And Chris and Eric are always open to that. I think Christian had his hand up earlier.
Yeah, I spoke, though. I'm good.
Okay. It seems like, one of the things that we were expecting was a few more students here. So I'd like to hear from Christopher and Alexander, particularly what you are mad about in relation to media, but also what are your goals in relation to media? Are you interested in getting into the industry? Are you interested in getting into doing any work that relates directly into either creation of media? Alexander, Chris? I forgot there's two Chris. There's three Chris.
There's three.
Yeah. Marsh?
Well, in my community, the media, it's pretty one-sided, I think. It's pretty, we don't have many, I live in a smallish town, Marsh town. It's pretty one-sided. I feel like there's not much diversity there. And I feel like it would be better if we had a bit more perspective when it comes to that.
Is that something that you feel like it's one-sided because everybody in the town thinks alike, or is it one-sided because there's limited a number of outlets in the media to share those diverse perspectives?
I think there's definitely limited amount of perspectives because there's not many outlets there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Any thoughts about creating your own content to maybe share a different perspective?
I haven't really thought about that, no.
That's what we're here for, maybe. I saw in the chat, Christopher Marsh put, I would say, film production in the media. Chris, you want to elaborate on that a little bit in terms of, or is that something you're interested in getting into? Or what is your...
I would say it's something to get interested into.
Okay. Okay. Anyone here that done work in film production? I know, Tisha? You're working on a documentary now.
Yeah, so I'm working, actually, like my film is a narrative feature. And when I started making the film, when I started working on the film, I started advocating for tower climbers. So I have a second, it's an episodic series called High Climber Stories. And that's where I delve into some of the issues that tower climbers are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, I would agree that it is hard sometimes, especially regionally, to get involved in film production. I know that for myself, one avenue that was helpful to me has been organizations like Sundance or like the Knight Foundation, which is in Philadelphia. There's plenty of organizations and plenty of avenues available locally that you can look to get involved with. I feel like there's lots of grants and lots of opportunities if you look for them. But all in all, I will say that initially I'm not from this area. So when I moved here, it was a little challenging to find sort of my place in the film world on a local level.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Lisa, I know you have a couple of things that you want to share. So when we turn it over to Lisa Wilk.
Yeah, so before Chris and Eric came to the team, like I've been working at WHYY for 8 years, and we've been working with young people in the community. We have programs in over 40 schools, and Dobbins was one of our first media labs. There was not a CTE video program at Dobbins until recently. I was like, you have a career in technical school and there's no video, and it's so close to Temple, which has a really great film and media program too. So I'm really happy to see that flourish now. And Christopher, I didn't catch what grade you were in. What grade are you in?
12th grade.
12th grade. So that's like a really pivotal part of your high school career. And I see you have an award in your picture. So I'm assuming you're in Mr. Taylor's class. Are you Mr. Taylor's class or Mr. Shomes?
No, I'm in neither. I'm a business program.
See, you're dual thinking here. I mean, doing business and media is a really good thing sometimes. So I went to Temple for photojournalism and media, but also went to be a teacher. So my interest is really teaching youth media. I was going to show a real quick thing, but that's also what Marie does. And Marie, we do the local level. So I mostly work with Philly teens, and I help them tell their story. And this past summer, Chris helped one of our students too, help tell a story through our youth employment program. In the past 2 years, we've created our own pipeline of getting content to WHYY from young people, but also students who will get them job placements at the Inquirer. We've had them at Comcast. We've had them working at Aldea. So we have all of our students who we pay them for that. And Marie works really closely with me, and a few of those students also got to work with their program, Student Reporting Labs, which is a national program, but still connected to us. But I can share the one thing, but if you want to say, I know you introduced yourself, Marie, but like at Student Reporting Labs, you also are amplifying students' voices in the work.
Yeah, just briefly, I'd say, you know, we're here to train students on the skills they need to tell stories, but we're also excited to get their voices on the national news. We air student stories on the NewsHour, and you know, we have like an older audience, and we think it's really important for them to hear younger voices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's always been really great connecting. We don't just do journalism, we do both, but the examples I was going to show real quick were journalism related. So this is just a reel of some of the content we do at high schools. But before I show a little bit of that, because we only have about 6 more minutes of the session, is I might actually just show you the published work. So around the time of election season, we have one of our students from Mustafa. He actually has a byline. Billy Penn is one of WHYY's is part of WHYY. It's a kind of like a younger audience news site. So we had 3 students who were working there. So Mustafa, a student at Penn Treaty, which is really close, not far from Temple, but it's a neighborhood school. Mustafa is in a journalism program at a school, but he actually worked on a few stories with Billy Penn this summer, and then he ended up pitching a story in December. Notice the differences in the timeline. These two were ones he did when he was employed for our summer program, but he also pitched an idea to interview students in Philadelphia that were working on getting other students registered to vote, mostly based at Central High School, but they also, at the time when we spoke with them, were trying to get students in Georgia registered to vote, because remember there was that Georgia runoff. So he made a video and he has a written byline. So he made this piece all by himself. I could just show like a few seconds of it because I do want to show the other published work. So he kind of did the non-narration style, which is popular on WHYY's website.
We would do in-person registration. We did DMs. We did like text messages. I know for sure the My School Votes program as a whole so far has sent 30,000 registration DMs.
What were you thinking as the results were coming in?
So much anxiety, but I kind of appreciate how like moments like that, we sort of come together, you know, everyone is like constantly talking and supporting each other and providing each other with comfort when we don't know what's going on.
What are your thoughts on Donald Trump criticizing the way Philadelphia handled this election?
If I were to speak like for the whole team, like for all the organizations that we worked for, I'm very confident that we all feel happy with the results, and we're really, really proud of the way that our local government handled it.
So I'm going to pause that one, but that was really cool because it's like a Philly youth reporter talking about something that was national news, right? Because we were kind of in the spotlight at the time, but localizing it more, but talking to youth in Philly about it. So that's kind of a really great way that we will connect with our students with their news that they publish. And then this is Student Reporting Labs. We're gonna have a session breakout, me and Marie, and go a little more deep. But one of our students this past summer who works really closely with Student Reporting Labs and us published a piece for Plan Philly, which is another site for WHYY. And she did a piece about, is it really safe for us to go back to school? Wow, you know, like this is October. She was working on it most of the summer. The story kept changing about going back to school, and she was able to publish her piece. She worked on a really long video about and interviewed people from SEPTA about, is it safe for us to go back to school? Because in Philly, all of us take SEPTA, right? And that's kind of out of the school district's hands. It's SEPTA and it's other community members. And so that was a youth who worked with us as well as Student Reporting Labs to tell that story and amplify that story. The other one that I will mention is the one that Chris worked with, which was two of our students worked on about going back to school and talking to students from the tri-state area. And they actually had a town hall and a conversation and showed their videos. So we do that a lot with our students. And so if you as a teenager, or even if you're a college student, it's a really great area at WHYY where we're teaching young people who want to like build up their skills, but also platform and even getting paid for those who participate in our employment program. And so, yeah, I know we have 2 more minutes left, but maybe we could like leave it open for questions. Maybe if for like Christopher and Alex, and even Christian, I know you're in college, of how you can get connected with WHYY's programs or Student Reporting Labs as you make content.
Yeah, so what's the process like? I mean, I know we don't have much time left, but.
Yeah, so the process, so you're in college. So the one thing that I'll mention is you can apply to be a WHYY intern when you're out of your sophomore year. They are paid internships. Recently, because of COVID, we did cut it off, but I didn't catch what year you were, but you can even be an intern after 1 year in college. My department has 2 interns who work on our summer camps and also in after school programs teaching journalism and documentary filmmaking. I'm not sure if NICE is taking on any, but I know our newsroom has plenty, right? And so for you, you're kind of past the high school age to help with us, but it looks like, Eric, how could he find out more about your NICE program?
Well, he could go to the website that you shared, whyy.org/NICE, or you can email me at emarsh@whyy.org. And we also have a general email at nice@whyy.org. So lots of different ways that you can find out information about us. The other great thing is that you can go to the website and actually look at the current list of partners that we have. And we have links to their platforms as well. So you can go and see what kind of work they're working on, their creation. And you know, you might feel inspired to step up and share some of that information with us and become a partner. So really looking forward to hearing from you guys.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Trying to pull it up, but it's nice, right? WHYY.org/nice.
Yep.
All right, I'll just add it.
And Christopher Malo, I would love to hear more about what you guys are doing over there at Temple as well. So feel free to shoot
48 seconds for the elevator pitch.
Feel free to shoot me an email.
Very, very good. But the small, shorter version would just be sending students out to kind of embed in neighborhoods that aren't often covered by legacy media, traditional media, to embed for the course of the semester and do reporting on these communities and what's happening there beyond kind of ways that they're typically covered. There's very interesting and important work that's being done that doesn't often get talked about. So we try to cover that.
I did it when I was a student and I taught the class and I helped teach the class.
And I read Philadelphia neighborhoods and familiar with Chris, and I think you guys would be a good fit, or at least worth exploring as a partner for NICE.
Sure, I'll reach out.